Hey, Shalom. I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem HaKakodash. I'd like to give double honors unto the apostles and elders of great millstone that do rule well. Peace and a blessed salutations unto the sincere Achiums that push this gospel to the four corners of the earth in truth and in sincerity. Lady Brother, I would ask with another impromptu video. Here with two videos, to show that hey, the Lord is making an end at this kingdom, at the rulership of Esau, Edom, and it's being manifested, right? So, I'll go to the first video. So we see that what the scripture say in Mark chapter 3 and verse 26. It says, if Satan rise up against himself, and if Satan rise up against himself and be divided, he cannot stand, but had an end. And the end is come. We see if it wasn't this week, just last week, where you see upon the I believe it was the aircraft carrier, I believe it was the Abraham Lincoln, that has been deployed for 200 or over 250 days, and it taking a toll, on the sailors, the crew members, we have military personnel, bugging out. They even jumping overboard, jumping into the sea, right? We see that information coming out that, they've been rationing food and other supplies, right? So it's showing that the military might of Esau Edom is diminishing, right? They are no longer a superpower, right? The kingdom is crumbling before their eyes, and they know it. They know it, right? So I'll read over this. This is Mark chapter 3 and verse 26, and it says, and if Satan rise up against himself and be divided, he cannot stand, but had an end, right? So now we go to the next video.
The Prime Minister has hit the reset button on US-led plans for Gaza.
Israel rejects the 15-point document. The military will not carry out any withdrawal until Hamas is genuinely disarmed. In addition, the army will continue to thwart threats against our forces and our citizens.
Israeli elections are right around the corner. This declaration was aimed at Benjamin Netanyahu's supporters. They have been furious since U.S. President Donald Trump announced last month that Hamas had agreed to disarm and that Israel would implement a phased withdrawal of its forces.
Israel's very happy about it. Israel helped us, and they've been very good.
Since Trump announced his 20-point peace plan for Gaza last year, Israel has failed to meet its obligations. And instead of redeploying troops, it now occupies more than 70% of the Palestinian territory.
Yeah, so we see that President Trump, he came out and he gave a speech saying that they're implementing a 15-point, where that Israel would retract from the Gaza, right? And then we have the president at the small huts, come out and say, hey, we're not pulling back from there. right? So we see the disagreement within the kingdom of Esau, Edom, right? And the Lord is making a full, how to put it, a full circle around Esau, Edom, right? And they know that this is their end, you know, and that's the reason why they're pushing for their agendas, you know. The RFID, you know, still laying the foundations, you know. They want to bring things like data center, and all these things is, you know, happening rapidly on a grand scale, right? And moving fast. It is moving faster now than before, right? So let me go to second Ezra. Let's see. I believe it's 6 and verse 9. Yeah, he said, for Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that following. So we see that what? Through the Spirit, you know, that this kingdom is being diminished. You know, the strength from this kingdom is getting weak, right? Nobody, you know, in the right mind really looking up to Esau, Edom, right? So we see here that it says what? For Esau is the end of the world, right? Which world? This world, this present wicked world. You know, the Lord is bringing it to a stop, right? It said, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followed, right? And here we have from the apostles on down, you know, the prophets, you know, ushering in the kingdom of the Lord, the king, you know, ushering in the coming of Yahushua and his rulership, right? What now? Precept. I'm gonna see. I'm gonna go to Ezekiel. Ezekiel chapter 25 and verse 12. He said, thus said the Lord Yahweh, because that Edom had dealt against the house of Judah by taking vengeance, and had greatly offended and revenged himself upon them, therefore thus said Yahweh Power, I will also stretch out my hand upon Edom, and will cut off man and beast from it, and I will make it desolate from Teman, and they of Dedan shall fall by the sword, and I will lay my vengeance upon Edom by the hand of my people Israel, right? And this is what you're going to have, you know. The saints is going to take the kingdom, you know, from Esau, Edom, and possess it, right? So we are going to tear down their kingdom, you know, going back to 2nd Ezra chapter 6 and verse 9, you know, that says, for Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is one that followed, right? But I'll go I'll read go down. It said the hand of man is betwixt the heel and the hand, right? So this is, you know, so this going back to Jacob, or pulling down, you know, pulling down Esau, Edom, and this kingdom, right? So here we have the prophets, you know, through the Spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, you know, prophesying, you know, through the Spirit, you know, and making a full circle, a full end at this present world, this present life as we know it, right? They tearing it down spiritually, right? So the Lord is making an end of Esau, Edom, right? Go back to Ezekiel. Verse 25 and verse 12. Right, and verse 14, he said, and I will lay my vengeance upon Edom by the hand of my people Israel. Right, and they shall do in Edom according to my anger and according to my fury, and they shall know my vengeance, said the Lord Yahweh. You understand? And who shall know the Lord's vengeance? Esau, Edom, right? Because the Lord is going to make a end of them, right? The Lord is going to completely cut off Esau, Edom, right? So yeah, as I say again, the Lord making it manifest, that this kingdom, it down on its knees, right? This kingdom is down on its knees. The Lord has make a full circle, the end of this kingdom. There's no more rising back up, or healing the womb, right? So, with that, I say shalom. Until the next video, Barakatah.